Hello and welcome to today's episode of TSARP. I'm your host, Andrew Weir, and today we're going to be giving a recap of our hackathon, the Pirate Conquest. To help me out is my teammate from last year, Sam, and our co-host.
Yo ho, yo ho.
Oh no, not a sea shanty. Getting us into ready to see this Pirate Conquest. So, if you don't know, we did a episode yesterday about all the hackathons, kind of like a brief summary. Today, we're going to go into specifically the Pirate Conquest, because we can talk a lot about it, because we were in it. It was last year, May 6th, as you can see. Sadly, it was online, not in person, but I think that kind of gave, I wouldn't say an advantage because everyone was online, but it was maybe a little nicer just because, like, you were in your own school. It was kind of like a home field advantage, but for everybody. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting because this year it is not online. As you can see, they have listed the ones that are going to be this year, and they're in person. So it's going to be interesting to kind of do that and have experienced both. So, yeah, I guess we'll get started. Spoiler alert, we won, Hopog, so this was our capital defense right here. If you don't know how that works, everybody starts right here. These are all, like, your capital ships, and I'll pause it for a second. So, this was ours, and everyone could attack the same territories to begin with, but in some other hackathons, it's a little different with where you are and where you can attack. But all you need to know is everyone starts with one territory. It's right here, and you can attack any island to begin with. So that's all you need to know. So what everyone really went for in the beginning were these two islands, as you can kind of see. So was that us? I don't know. I couldn't tell. I went too fast. But we got this territory first, I believe, and then Mineola got this one first, and then after we got those, you could go for the quizzes, and these quizzes were worth 4 points if you were first, I believe. So they were, like, very important because if you weren't first, you didn't get 4 points. So it was like points that you could get forever that no one else would. So it was a big advantage. So Sam, was it you or Joseph that went for this one?
Originally, I went for that one, then Joe, and then it was me again. But I went first.
Okay. So, yeah, most of these were, I believe, hatch. All the islands were really hatched. The only ones that were Python were this one right here, that one, I believe these maybe. Yeah, that one, these two, and there was one more. I could be wrong. I can't actually check anymore, sadly, because I'm not in the community as of the hackathon was last year. But at this moment, we were doing pretty well. We were in first at this point. Yeah, I was gonna say we were in second, but then it sped ahead and we were in first. So we were really trading positions for first, second, and third a lot throughout it. And every time we got in first again, it was like a big cheer, and we all were happy because we were in first, and then we slowly got from like a small gap to a big gap back down to a small gap. Like right here we were far ahead, and then boom, we just you see how close that went. We were 1 point away, now we're 4 points away. It's a really crazy event, and this was really good because we had 3 territories right here, and this territory in the center was worth 3 points. These were all worth 2 points. So if we could have gotten this one, it would have been really good. Sadly, we did not. But you can see, I got this territory. I got that one too. What else did I? Oh, I had these, I believe. Or at least that one. And I forget. I had 3 in total. By the end. But at this current state, we had that one, 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 and that one. So we were doing great, really. If the game had ended here, it would have been spectacular. Sadly, at the end of the game, we only won by 1 point, but we still won. So this part of the game was kind of like, it can change at any moment. So we weren't really sure, like, what territories were going to be the ones we were going to hold on to at the end. So we were really splitting our time between different territories. So I was really going for this one right here. As you can see, it just got taken over. So I was kind of panicking, trying to get that one again. This one, sadly, like I said, I did not walk away with, but I was going for that a lot too. So it was really just a back and forth trying to get hold of these territories. What was interesting is this one also shifted hands to Syosset, which I didn't remember, but it was interesting because it was Mineola, Syosset, Hauppauge, me, all going after it. So it was these Python territories were very competitive. So Sam, during the hackathon, what were you really going after?
Um, I was really going after. I'm pretty sure like a few of the hatch ones.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically the buried treasure one. I know that was a
Oh,
huge one.
that was a good one. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I liked
and
it.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know the exact name of it. Like pirate ships had they had to be like fighting each other.
Yeah, so they were all primarily hacks, right?
Yeah, that's all I do.
Yeah. So you'll see coming up at the end here, um, we had one capital defense, right? And in the last 10 minutes, I'll pause for a second, you could go after any capital defense. So it was a little time consuming because you could only do it in the last 10 seconds. It had to be the captain, which I was, and I was busy trying to take over that one and these and that one. So it was like I really should be working on this, but this is also very important. But the ones you take over that are capital defenses are only worth 1 point. So as you can see, if I scroll down, these down here, these people that all have 1 point, a lot of them at the end ended up with no points because their capital defense got taken over. So I'll show you that after it ends. But yeah, so as you can see, right here was not our proudest moment. This was our lowest point. We were all the way back in 5th. We're like, oh no, it's over. We're not going to win. We were kind of not thinking it was going to go too well. Luckily, as you can see at the end, a lot of things just ended up aligning to where we jumped ahead again. So we finally got back in 3rd. This was a good point. And you'll see at the end, it was really just a fight between these 3 teams. Every other team, also SYO, Source Code, all those 4 teams were really competing. Mineola was also, still barely holding on, but kind of got pushed away at the end. But yeah, it was a really intense competition. And
It was.
yeah, so sadly, you won't be able to see at the end that submissions ended, but judging still took another 15 minutes, and that was just a lot of anticipation of what was going to happen. And I'll pause for a second again. I've been thinking for a long time. I was like, what if we had AI, judge all of them. Now, of course, we don't have AI right now that can do that. But in the future, say we did. And I really thought about it because I was like, that could be cool. What would change, And I decided that it might actually be worse. Because at the end and throughout the game, one of the most fun parts, but also terrifying parts, is the anticipation, right? You don't know if the territory you spent 40 minutes on is gonna pass or not. And you gotta wait a good 5-10 minutes to see if it does, and then know, to work on it again. And if it was an AI, they would either have to put in artificial timing, which would kind of just make the timing pointless, because you could have your answer right then, and they're just holding it from you. And the game is kind of pre-decided then at that point. Or the AI would also just cause glitches and more counterfeit judging, and it would just cause to a lot of people being angry and just wouldn't really work out. But it was an interesting thought I had, but overall wouldn't really improve the game. If anything, worsen it. But yeah, so as you can see, we're getting down to our last few minutes here. Really, all the submissions were being finished up, sent in, and I believe we're down to our last 10 minutes, or just about there. So this is when you're going to start seeing attacks on these capital territories, which, we must have already hit it, because, I'll pause, we just took over these 2. Sadly, you can't rewind, even though it looks like you can. Maybe that's a feature they could add in the future, but you can see, or if you replay this episode, you can see that we took over these 2 little capital defenses down here, and if we scroll down, these 2 teams, both, now 0 points, and don't know if they are still able to attack territories. I believe they might be out of the game now. If we keep playing, you might be able to see if they took over another one. But they were just out of territories. So let's see. Yeah, we're getting right down. And we're ahead right now. That was really good. Okay. Yeah, and you can see over here, this is what happens a lot during the game, or at the end of the game, is a lot of these shields start popping up. What that means, and you can see we defended, is that it means you defended. So the person attacking didn't make a better project and lost. So that happens a ton at the end of the game. Just a lot of people submitted bad projects right at the end just to see what would happen, which is good and not good because you could end up getting an extra territory from that, but you might also just not and start clogging up the submissions, and that anticipation becomes longer, and also the wait becomes longer, and the judges get more stressed as they see them coming in. So one thing I would say to other people is maybe, like, if it's a really, really bad project, like, especially if there's no chance that it's gonna pass, just don't be a sore loser. Let it go, because it's just going to clog up those judges. If it is a close shot, if you think there is a distinct possibility that it will win, please submit. I'm not saying not to. Just like if you put one block in your project and you're like, well, I might as well. Like, maybe you just decide to not do that and save the judges some trouble. So you're going to see the game end right about here. More of those shields are popping up as teams defend. And this was when they were announcing the other awards we'll talk about in a second. See, one sword came through, meaning one team finally got through. And boom, that's the end. We won. We won by 1 point, like I said. We ended up getting 2 capital territories. I held on to that one, and that one. Sadly, like I said, did not get this one. And I think the final one was this guy down here that I didn't get, but I could be wrong. Sam, do you know who was holding these territories?
I think I was one of them. I don't know who the top right one was.
Yeah, one thing I would say to, these are all suggestions to improve this interface is just like a rewind. They're probably working on these things. And also like individual player stats. See what individual players did. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, so there was a total of 1,233 submissions, and that's just crazy. So, as you probably noticed, it was a 3-hour event, and people were able to get done 1,233 projects. Now, a lot of those might have been amazing, and some of them might not have been too good. What kind of shows you which ones were good and which ones weren't, were the total successful attacks. That means total projects that beat and won and took a territory. So you can say that there was at least 287 successful good projects made. And these ones that defended were also very good projects, because it means that these were like the projects that were the best, absolutely the best, because it means that they took on other territories attacking them, and they held off and they kept winning. So a lot of interesting stats here, including the capital attack count. I don't believe that means successful attacks. That's mostly just like how many attacks there were. And as you can see, this team, what team was that? They were the Hill Hackers, it looks like. They took over a bunch. I believe that was Mineola, right? Took over a bunch. So you can see that there were a lot of attacks, but most of them did not succeed, because as you can tell, there was 36, and only a few took over. So, yeah, those are pretty much all the stats there. Of course, Hotbog did have the most successful attacks, because I believe if you have the most successful, you are the winner, but I could...
That's not true.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that now. I mean, it very well could be. But if it keeps getting, if I attack a territory and someone else takes it over, I could still lose, but that was one successful attack. So, so that doesn't exactly correlate, but it did here. Also, what's interesting is the most successful defenses went to the second place team, which is interesting. I wonder, if we analyze that more, what that would really mean. I guess they just got attacked more. But yeah, it's just interesting to look at these stats. A lot of cool things to look over. Also, a lot of things you can look at when you're in the community that we are currently not, so we cannot tell you. Maybe we'll do an update on this video when the time rolls around and hackathon season comes, and I can look at that. Well, if I make the team. But, if Sam or any one of us will invite at least one team member on, if it's not me or Sam, and we'll take a better look at what happened. But that's really an in-depth look. Sorry if some points were not too interesting, but, you kind of have to go over all of it to kind of see what was the most interesting parts. We definitely will share the link so you can go look at this. If I forget to, it's just on ccedu.oyoclass.com. And you can click on any hackathon you want to. We might also in the future invite a team member from 2021 on to take a look at the Monster Island Conquest, which was very interesting. Sadly, I was not there, so I could not tell you what it was like. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.